Hey, what's up everybody? This is John with a quick helpful video for my fellow sketch card artists, or basically anybody who uses Prismacolor markers. Now, Prismacolors, these, pretty much my favorite. I use 3 different kinds of markers when I do my cards and convention sketches and whatnot. Prismacolors, Chart Pack, and Copic markers. Out of the 3, the Prismas tend to be my favorite because they have the different tips that give you a lot of different kind of lines that you can do, and without having to switch or go to the other side. And also they tend to be pretty inexpensive. You can get them anywhere from about $1.50 to $4 depending on where you are and what access you have to stores online or stores in your area. However, just like any other marker, they do run out, and I just wanted to share a little something with you that I picked up from a friend recently, and hopefully will help you make them last a little bit longer. You're probably familiar with this kind of look. This is the good old Prismacolor marker that's been banging around in the bag for a couple of years, and at this point it is just about burnt out. You can see the differences in color on the tip, and where it looks like it's getting a little bit dry, and it's starting to get to the point where it's just about unusable. You see the white coming through there, and the darkness on the ends of the stroke means it's running out of carrier. The way these Prismacolor markers work, in case you haven't looked into it or just haven't thought about it, is they come in 2 parts. You have your tip that's got your pigment in it, and then you've got your basically your tube here that's got your carrier in it. And the carrier is actually a pretty common alcohol, and you can replace that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply try to make this marker, bring it back to its original brilliance, and I'm going to do that with a couple of really cheap tools that you probably have sitting around. Liquid dropper, and some isopropyl alcohol. I use the 91% because it is stronger and should work better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to really simply put my dropper in to my bottle here, and I'm going to pull out a couple of milliliters of alcohol, and I'm going to take my Prismacolor marker and I'm going to grab the nib carefully, and I'm going to just jimmy it out of there. There you see is the nib that is getting pretty dry, but it still has plenty of pigment, and that's the key here. So now in the open end of the tip of the marker, I'm just going to put my eyedropper here, and I'm going to drop in all of that alcohol, about 2 milliliters. If your marker is good and dry, it'll probably take about 4 milliliters to fill it back up, 3 to 4. So I'm going in for a second one here. Don't worry if you get a little messy, because this stuff dries up very quickly and it's not going to mess anything up. Alright, so I'm full there already. Just going to dry it up a little bit. I'm going to pick my nib back up here, and I'm just going to carefully pop it back in the top. Also, don't worry about any alcohol coming out. It's going to be absorbed by the center of the marker very quickly. And so there we go. I've put more alcohol back in my marker, and what I'm going to do now is, it takes a little while to soak up, so I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to start back up in just a few minutes and show you the results. Alright everybody, I'm back here. Moment of truth time. Here is the burnout old sand marker. You can actually see in the tip there are some different variations of color right now as the carrier, which is just the rubbing alcohol, soaks back into the tip. And here was my original first stroke when I started this whole thing, and now I'm just going to do a similar one right next to it. And you can see that even without going too fast, or without going too slow, the stroke is a lot more full, and I've got a better consistent color. So the marker is now once again a little bit more useful, and this was after about 2-3 minutes of waiting. After a whole day, the marker is going to completely kind of reset itself, and it's going to be a lot more useful. So if I had waited longer, I would get an even better distinction of character and a more fuller color right here. But just so you can see again, there is the marker being used after being refilled with just ordinary $1 bottle rubbing alcohol. So hopefully this will help you guys pinch your pennies a little bit and make your supplies last a little bit longer. Hope it was useful, and good luck.